Hello and welcome. My name is Ajaxpost and your eyes do not deceive you. We are looking today at Transport Fever 2. Yes, 2, the sequel. Upcoming sequel, that is, to one of my favourite games of recent years, of possibly ever. Transport Fever, which I'm currently running 2 series on this channel, as you may hopefully have noticed previously. And Transport Fever itself was a sequel to an earlier game called Train Fever, which was itself a very fine game in its own right. Now, what we've seen today, as of I keep trying to say August, but it's not, it's April the 24th, 2019. Urban Games and Good Shepherd Entertainment have announced that they will hopefully be releasing Transport Fever 2 in Q4 2019. Interesting they say Q4, because if I remember correctly, Transport Fever first came out in 2017 in November of that year. So is it possible they've got their eyes set, hoping to get an anniversary release for this new version, this new game? That would be pretty impressive. Anyway, what we're doing here today, we're not actually looking playing the game, doing anything like that. It is only just an announcement, and they've released a trailer and a whole series of screenshots of what they're saying is actually in-game footage from their current alpha build of this new game. So this is my first time doing an announcement review, a reaction video, if you will. So if I get a little bit excited or carried away, please do bear with me, but I am feeling pretty hyped about the possibilities of this new game. So what we're going to do first, we're going to have a look at the announcement trailer. I will be stopping it at a few little points, just sort of pick out some things that are of interest. The first thing I'm going to say is I think that train we see on this sort of cover image for the new game is a Shinkansen, a Japanese train. Let that just sink in for a while, and let's play the trailer. Look at that glorious looking landscape. And notice here in the very top sort of right corner, top right corner of the game, flying over those trees, yes, flying over those trees, birds. One of the things they've put into their game announcement is they are simulating animals, birds and fish, individual animals, birds and fish in the new game. It doesn't sound like a lot, but actually having a living landscape to work through is pretty nice. And the landscape itself is pretty impressive. These are sort of wheat fields that Maximus Gladius Claudius, whatever his name was in Gladiator, or indeed British Prime Minister Theresa May, may sort of walk through, rub their hands in the wheat, wafting in the wind. So I'm trying to get lyrical and failing utterly, but this is looking pretty impressive for in-game footage. So let's just carry on here just for a second. And I'm wondering if this is an actual farm. So are we going to be seeing more dynamic industry sites? So farms with actually animals on them, growing wheat. They're saying the world is going to be more dynamic. So are we possibly going to be seeing some sort of seasonal variations? They put into the announcement, they've actually used the phrase, and I quote, a detailed game world with physics-based lighting. That could just mean that the lighting has a point of origin. So as you sort of turn the map around, as you scroll around the map, the sun sort of is in a different position in the sky relative to you. So the shadows might change. But could it possibly mean that we might be getting some sort of seasonal variation? Possibly even night and day. I don't know. To be honest, I wouldn't like night and day. I don't think it works within the sort of time scale that they use in the game. And it would look pretty, but I think it would just be awkward to use when you're actually building and running the networks that you've got. But seasons could be quite interesting. And this is a pretty impressive looking town. Yep, lovely, big, modern, sort of really, I hate to use sexist terms like this, masculine, really, powerful, sort of upright, and I'm going to get carried away, and I'm going to get a bit rude, a bit adult, and I don't want to do that. And my voice is going already. The excitement is just too much. But can you see something on these roads? Can I bring my cursor into play? Just down there, bottom of the screen on the right, on the left-hand side. We might see it in another screenshot. Here, yes, you can see it in that road going up from bottom to top, south to north. And in fact, on most of the roads here, there are direction arrows. What they have said in the game announcement is they have said, where is it? I'm going to have to find it here in my notes. Realistic transport simulation, including one-way streets. One-way streets. Yes, you heard it right. And light signals, as we shall see. I missed that one. Can I roll this back just a little bit? There, we'll stop here. Does that look like on and off ramps to you? On a motorway system going across a main sort of rural road? That's what it looks like to me. And again, you can see the one-way roads, the directional roads they've got there. This is properly impressive. This will make designing road networks so much more, realistic and flexible. And will they possibly in this, if they're doing this sort of thing, will they put a stop to that rather annoying feature of the current game Transport Fever of the towns stretching their tentacles out into the countryside and building city roads in odd points in the middle of the countryside? It gets frustrating and I know it annoys a lot of players, but this bodes well, I think. Oh, look at this. Traffic lights, one-way roads, traffic lights, and vehicles with headlights, tail lights, and blinking, get out of the way, man, blinking indicator signals, so you can tell what direction they're turning in. That level of detail, impressive. Colour me impressed. Did you see that? Did you see? I thought I saw it when I first looked through this trailer. That clock moved. The time on that changed from 10:09 to 10:10. Moving clocks on stations. Another beautiful, just lovely little detail which just makes playing the game just so much more fun and engaging. Loved it. And it's a fabulous looking modern station. Now, what they have said about stations, let me quote again from the announcement: modular train stations, bus and truck stations, airports and harbours. It's not going to be simply a case of just clicking a button and upgrading to add a number of tracks or to change the period style of the building. Modular suggests a whole new level of flexibility and potentially complexity as well. We shall see. There's something about to come up which I think might indicate what we're going to get. Look at that, lovely. Actually, go back to that again, just a little bit back. It's greyed it out. For some reason, I hadn't spotted that when I first saw this. It's greyed it out. That is a much better visualization of the lines. The lines could get sort of hidden away and difficult to see, but this looks so much neater. The one thing we're not seeing on that, looking at the yellow lines over here on the left, we're not seeing directional indicators on those lines. Not sure what that means. I like the way they've sort of abstracted everything apart from the lines. So is this an indication of their new overlay system? Again, a bit more on that in a moment. Love this wonderful old loco going through the American plateaus. I'm trying to find a word to describe the American landscape in the game, but you know what it's like if you've seen Transport Fever. But what they have said is we are not getting one, we're not getting two, we are getting three landscape or world styles. Now, I love this bit too. I'll come back to the world styles in a minute. There's so much in this picture to look at. There's birds flying in the sky. Wonderful. This is a lovely animation. This is a lovely sort of image of the people in the game. Now, to be honest, I can't really remember if in the current game, Transport Fever, if the passengers actually change their outfits, if the passengers change according to the time period. But this indicates that we are going to get real sort of period detail throughout the life of the game, from 1850 right up to whenever the game finishes. So not just buildings and vehicles, but passengers themselves will change according to the actual time period you're playing through. Again, look at these details. But this I like. Now this is a very impressive picture to me for a couple of reasons. It looks gorgeous. The slopes, the colours, the simple smoothness of the whole landscape here. But most important of all is, apart from perhaps one or two, and they might not actually be what I think they are these things rocks? I don't think they are. So what we're seeing here is vertical surfaces without rocks all across them. Now that was one real big bugbear of Transport Fever, was you try to draw a vertical or near vertical incline in the game, in your mountains or your mesas here, like in the American environment, and they just have this ridiculous tumble of rocks all across them, and it looked plain silly. This is much cleaner, much nicer. This is indicating industry, cargo. It looks good. What else can you say? This though, this is an exciting new feature for Transport Fever 2. Freight by aircraft. Oh yes, we are getting at last, within the base game itself, no need to rely on our wonderfully skilled and talented modding community. The game itself is going to include aircraft capable of carrying freight. And what do you see over there on the right hand side of this picture? Does that look like a passenger gate to you as well? That's what I'm thinking they're meaning when they say modular stations, train, bus, truck, harbours, airports, modular, that you could actually combine passenger and cargo in the same site at the same station. Notice this aircraft. Notice this aircraft taking off from a cargo point, a cargo station, if you will, a cargo airport. And that, I believe, is the same airport sending out passengers. Apart from the lovely sort of tropical sound to this part of the trailer, what does this suggest to you? This suggests tropical. Yep, this is the third world environment, the third environment style they're putting into the game for Transport Fever 2. Not just the green European, not just the sort of dusty desert style Americana, but also tropical, in a vaguely kind of Asian, Oceanic kind of way, I guess. But look, palm trees, islands, wonderful. And there we have it. And the thing about this is, again, that train, because they have said in the announcement that we are going to be playing across 3 continents in Transport Fever 2, Europe, America and Asia. And they're going to give us, not the 120 vehicles we had in the original Transport Fever, 200 vehicles across buses, trams, trucks, aircraft, you know, the whole gamut of transport that we have at the moment in Transport Fever. So that's the trailer coming Q4 2019, Transport Fever 2. So looking through some of the screenshots that are on the website available to us, again, this is an interesting thing. It's a mix of trucks and trains. Is that what they mean by modular stations? Also, what they've said in the announcement is we are going to get, where was it, more than 10 economic chains with associated factories and goods. Now, in the current transport fever, you could, if you wanted to count up all the different ways you could produce goods, you could sort of you could say there were sort of 10 chains there, but I don't think that's what they mean. I think what they're suggesting here is that we could have 10 source raw materials, wood, from farms, from mines, from quarries. We'll have 10 source materials, each with an economic chain, a goods chain, to complete. The other thing they have said in this context, dynamic economy and city simulation. Dynamic economy. What does that suggest to you? That suggests to me that the economy can change over time. Does that mean we're going to get different types of goods available through the different years? Does that mean that we might get events in the game, which to me, that would be a great addition. So we would get things like perhaps the economic crash of the 1930s, the Great Depression. We might get the boom and bust years of modern capitalism. What sort of things could happen? Could factories explode? Could we have disasters in the game, which would impact, obviously, on not just the economies, but the cities themselves? I think disasters might be asking a bit much. This isn't a city builder or world builder or a god game. It's a transport game. So disasters are possibly out of the running. But to be honest, if I remember correctly, was it not the original Sid Meier's Railway Tycoon, which had little disasters in? Or at least the wooden bridges, if you didn't maintain them, had a habit of collapsing, usually under your train. It was a great thing to worry. Another little detail that made the game more complex and engaging. So let's carry on. What other screenshots have we got here? Come on, let's move along. More screenshots. Now, this one again, I'm looking at the passengers here. I'm also looking at the luggage. Where's that come from? Why is there luggage in the game? Is that just an asset detail on the station platform, which is always there? Or is it part of the individual passenger simulation? I don't know. More modern, and what I love about this photo is not just it's a great shot of an aircraft taking off, but there's a really lovely looking modern terminal, and I have a suspicion that sort of brick building in the centre is the cargo terminal. I might be wrong, then again I might not be. This is a wonderful shot. I like this. So it's a great photograph. I have a suspicion it might have been edited. There might be a little sort of post-production going on here. Look at that speed blur. I mean, are you going to see that in-game? I don't know. But you see here the lights on the vehicles, the signals, the traffic lights we've got going on here. But it actually looks wet. There's definitely a wet feel to this. It looks like one of those cloudy, misty mornings in some major metropolitan area. And it's just damp on the ground. It might even be raining for all we know. Is there going to be weather in the game? Interesting question. A dynamic simulation. Could that include weather, physics, lighting and stuff? The other thing here that is interesting is the people themselves. The animations we saw in the trailer didn't seem to be that much more advanced than they are currently in Transport Fever. But I think the look of the people, certainly in these still images, is a lot better, is a lot more impressive, it's a lot more realistic and, dare I say it, even varied than we have in Transport Fever at the moment. Just love the look of this city though. It is wonderful. Now this is another great shot because it's suggesting what I've been thinking all along, modular. We have got a goods harbour here, a big freight ship taking goods away to goodness knows wherever. We've got lorries, we've got trucks on the same site. We've even got aircraft taking off in the background there. Have we got one simple goods hub here, which is servicing not just ships, but trucks and airplanes as well? Is this a modular cargo station? And I just love that rainbow effect as well. That is good physics lighting. Whatever physics looks like when you light it, I don't know. But that's suggesting so much. This one, I'm not sure what this photo is suggesting, apart from a great collection of different types of transport. We've got goods lorries, trucks, we've got buses, we've got planes, we've got ships, we've got trains. The sparks under the rails, are they in the game as well? I have a suspicion not. They're just a lovely visual effect for the photograph. But if they are, I mean, I love in Transport Fever the way the trains screech and squeal as their wheels slide round the metal tracks going round a tight bend or something. You know, have they enhanced that audio effect with the visual effects of metal striking metal as a train strides down, rushes down the tracks? Interesting. I don't know. We shall see come Q4 2019. I love this modern station as well. This is looking fine. And a great city shot again. One-way streets, traffic lights, cars and vehicles signalling their direction. And it looks like a really lovely summer. It looks like an early. Is that an early summer morning or an evening? It could be evening actually, as the light is low down across the city streets. It's a lovely time of day, that actually, isn't it? As the sun sets during this long summer evening. And this is possibly an example of the tropical terrain. Great shot of an aircraft taking off. Trains, modern trains, Asian trains, yes. Good old-fashioned American, big, macho, powerful locomotives. Now I'm going to stop here for a second because there's another thing that they've mentioned in the announcement, and that was three landscape modes. The three landscape types: moderate, dry, and tropical. But they've also suggested, or said, they've not suggested, they've actually said it in the announcement: editable and paintable terrain with realistic effects. Editable, paintable terrain. That suggests not just up and down, digging ground, raising ground or levelling ground, but it actually means designing your landscape. So can we actually dig out for rivers? Can we fill rivers in? Can we create coastlines? Can we actually fully edit and manipulate the terrain we're working on? And it says you can do this all in-game. In fact, it does say editors for creating maps and editing saved games. So there's a whole new feature set available there for the creative types among us who just like creating realistic environments and maps and game worlds to play on. So many more tools available to us coming in Transport Fever 2. And only a couple more shots I think left. Wonderful shot of that big, powerful, majestic modern city. Oh, lovely wheat fields. Very, very, very nice rural environment, that. Birds flying. Again, much better looking rocks, perhaps. If nothing else, even simple things like that. And I said, I love the colour, the look of this canyon. And this shot is key for me. Freight aircraft, passenger aircraft, same site, the same airport, probably. And there you see it. That is a passenger airport with a freight plane in the background. This plane here, ready to depart, probably. There's 3 pilots in there. I didn't notice that before. So how many crew are they going to put into their vehicles? Is that going to be modifiable? And here we come to the end of the screen show. A beautiful waterscape. Again, is this demonstrating the flexibility of their new terrain editing tools? That's it. That is all we've seen so far of Transport Fever 2, announced by Urban Games and Good Shepherd Entertainment on April 24th, 2019. The game is due for release. They're planning to release it in Q4 of this year. Is there anything else I need to add to what they've offered us already, and that I've mentioned already? I don't think that... Oh, the only other thing perhaps is 3 campaigns across the 3 continents. Again, Europe, America and Asia, presumably, offering over 20 hours of playing time. And, yep. And if you're into Steam achievements, they're saying they're going to offer around 50 challenging achievements in free play mode. That's up from, I think, the 25 we have at the moment. The game spec is, again, will be going up. So you can still run it on Windows 7, 8 and 10, 64-bit computers. It's running... they plan to have it available to run under the Mac OS 10.12.6 or higher, and also on Linux, Ubuntu, however you pronounce that, 16 or above. All these details are on the website, transportfever2.com. Go check it out. Check the Steam forums. You know where to go find the details. I'll put the links below if you're not sure, but this game is looking fabulous, and I am so looking forward to getting my hands on it and sharing it with you as a whole new set of Let's Play videos here on Ajaxpost Plays. So that's it from me, from Ajaxpost, here having a look at Transport Fever 2. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, it'd be great if you click that little like button. That just gives me a little warm feeling in the middle of my heart. But even better, if you've got any thoughts, suggestions, anything you've got that comes to mind when seeing the trailer and the images, in-game images, we're told, from Transport Fever 2, just drop a note into the comments box below. That would be awesome. It would be great to hear from you. And of course, if you've not already done so, why not subscribe to the channel? Because I will be putting out more Transport Fever videos. Those 2 series still going on. And of course, come the end of the year when this game is released, you can be pretty darn certain there will be a Transport Fever 2 series up and coming here on this channel. So click that subscribe button. You know you want to. But anyway, from me here in Transport Fever 2, I'll see you again soon. But until then, bye-bye for now.